Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has departed from Tokyo to attend a summit with United States and South Korean leaders at Camp David. The leaders plan to discuss security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region amid increased threats posed by North Korea and China. North Korea has been pushing its nuclear and missile development programs, while China has been increasingly its maritime activities in the region. The three countries also plan to acknowledge their country's intention to conduct more joint military drills and to enhance cooperation in the fields of intelligence sharing and cybersecurity. A small aircraft crashed in Malaysia's Selangor state, killing at least 8 people on board and also 2 motorists. According to reports, 2 on the ground were drivers of a car and a motorcyclist. Both vehicles were hit by the aircraft in the crash. According to Civil Aviation Authority, the aircraft crashed near the Elmina township after departing from a holiday island. India's Chandrayaan-3 has completed another crucial maneuver. The spacecraft's propulsion module and lander module have successfully separated in orbit. This follows the completion of its final orbit-reducing maneuver and is gearing up for the next stage. The spacecraft is currently circling the moon and has separated into 2 parts. Now the lander module will test its onboard systems. The propulsion module will use its scientific instruments to study the exoplanets in space. Danish Foreign Minister has urged China to have a stronger position on Ukraine. He is currently on a 3-day trip to China, and while there interacting with the media, he said that Putin, who is the Russian president, is not listening to European leaders but only listening to China, and therefore China should speak up. The Danish minister said that he will discuss Ukraine and bilateral cooperation with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi when the two meet on Friday in Beijing. In June, Denmark, a strong supporter of Ukraine, increased its military aid to Ukraine to over $3 billion over the next 5 years. An Australian court has found Hillsong Church founder Brian Houston not guilty of concealing sexual abuse committed by his father in the 1970s. In 2021, Australian police charged Houston with failing to report the sex abuse by his father, Frank Houston. The judge ruled that younger Houston had a reasonable excuse for not reporting the matter and believed that the victim did not want it reported to the police. According to media reports, the court rejected charges that Houston covered up the abuse to protect the church's reputation.
It's fine. Oh, there you go.
Law enforcers in Pakistan have arrested over 100 suspects for their involvement in riots over alleged blasphemy. As per the police, the people who had gathered against Christian minorities have been arrested through video footage identification. At least 4 churches and members of Christian minority community were targeted in Pakistan's Faisalabad. Hundreds of people stormed a local Christian colony on Wednesday. In total, 6 churches have come under attack. Shops in the local market remain closed as the armed mobs roamed the streets. The mob also tried to destroy the Salvation Army Church. This is one of the oldest churches in Faisalabad. Iranian filmmaker Saeed Rustai and his producer Javed Norouz Begi are facing trouble for showing their movie at the Cannes Film Festival without government's permission. The film, known as Layla's Brothers, is about a struggling family in Iran during sanctions and includes scenes of protests. Despite winning awards at Cannes, they have not been allowed to compete in the Academy Awards. They have rather been sentenced to 6 months in prison for spreading anti-government ideas, but most of the sentence has been suspended. They are also banned from making films and talking to others in the industry. Chaotic scenes unfolded at Germany's Frankfurt airport in the early hours of Thursday morning. Severe flooding from heavy rainfall disrupted the functioning of the airport and caused flight cancellations and delays. Video footage showed long queues at the airport's departure area. Travelers were seen seated on the floor after the flooding caused some 70 flights to be cancelled. Severe weather warnings have been issued by the German Weather Service throughout the state. Record rainfall is being reported in parts of the region. Singaporean authorities charged 10 foreign nationals in court for alleged money laundering and forgery offences on Wednesday. The case involved about $737 million in cash, properties, luxury cars and other assets. Police seized the assets during the simultaneous raids across the island state on Tuesday. Prohibition of disposal orders were issued against 94 properties and 50 vehicles, with a total estimated value of more than $599 million. Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu visited Minsk for talks with his Belarusian counterpart Viktor Krenin on Wednesday. Both ministers attended an international conference on security in Moscow earlier this week. Li warned against playing with fire on Taiwan issue during his visit. Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko also paid a visit to Beijing in February and March to meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping in a bid to promote strategic partnership with China. New York City banned TikTok on government-owned devices on Wednesday. New York joins a number of US cities and states that have put such restrictions on the short video sharing application. Now, New York City agencies are required to remove the app within 30 days, and employees will lose access to the app and its website on city-owned devices and networks. Earlier, New York State had already banned TikTok on state-issued mobile devices. The ban follows.
When are you going to do it? Tomorrow afternoon?
A U.S. appeals court ruled that access to the abortion pill mifepristone must be restricted on Wednesday. The ruling ordered a ban on the telemedicine prescriptions and shipments of the drug by mail. The court order will not immediately take effect. The New Orleans-based U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals stopped short of ruling that the drug must be pulled off the market altogether. Mifepristone's availability remains unchanged for now after an emergency order from the U.S. Supreme Court in April preserving the status quo during the appeal.
So you'll do the first dose?
Temperatures in Hong Kong are becoming unbearable. Labours are sweltering as temperatures rise. Hong Kong saw its third hottest July on record, with the maximum daily temperature hitting 36.1 degrees Celsius. The top 3 warmest years in the city's history were all recorded after 2018. As per reports, last July, a pest control firm saw 20 of its workers quit because conditions were too tough, while 10 were hospitalized with heat stroke. After an entire forest got burnt bare by wildfires in Canada, officials have ordered the evacuation of the Northwest Territories. They say that a massive wildfire threatened the town of Hay River overnight. So far, no deaths have been reported from the Yellowknife fire, but several structures have been destroyed. Yellowknife has a population of around 20,000 people and lies 400 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle. Canada is enduring its worst wildfire season with more than 1,000 active fires burning across the country, including 230 in the Northwest Territories. Thousands of residents of the sparsely populated territories have already fled.
And they're going to meet right there in the middle.
Indian officials have revised the number of people killed in the Shimla landslide to 72 on Wednesday. The search for bodies was ongoing as only a dozen have been recovered so far. Around 2,500 people have also been displaced in the state of Himachal Pradesh in the wake of the landslides. The torrential rain, flash floods and landslides in the mountainous region destroyed homes, buildings and transport links and caused major power and railway disruptions. The monetary damage is expected to run into millions of dollars. Wildfires raged on the top of hills in a national park on the Spanish island of Tenerife. Authorities ordered the evacuation of 5 villages and cut off access to the forest surrounding Spain's highest peak, Mount Teide volcano. Now, the fire spread to over 800 hectares and caused widespread damage to flora and fauna. Helicopters were deployed to control the fire by spraying water over the affected area. The death toll in the Maui wildfire has now risen to at least 110, while search operations continue as we speak. US President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will head to Hawaii next week and meet survivors of the horrific wildfire. Joe Biden will meet the rescue teams and first responders still looking for bodies and survey the devastation. Meanwhile, the White House approved a request from Hawaii governor for a full reimbursement for 30 days of wildfire-related emergency work. Summer oranges have entered the harvest season and peak sales period in China's Hubei province. Local farmers have been busy picking and transporting oranges with the help of conveyors, drones and other technological means. Villagers operated drones to transport newly picked oranges. Overcoming the logistical challenges posed by the mountains, the county is soaring to new heights with aerial drones to help with the transportation of summer oranges. Hot air balloons fly over colorful Dangshe in China. A total of 40 colorful hot air balloons were spotted gliding across the province. Now, this area enjoys a great reputation, including a spot as one of the world's 10 magical geographical wonders, one of the world's most impressive 22 vistas, and the world's most beautiful Dangshe landform. Now, the landform refers to various landscapes found in southeast, southwest and northwest China that consist of a red surface and steep cliffs. A church held a special event to bless dogs in Bolivia. The father sprinkled holy water on the dogs and many barked back. The father was blessing dogs in El Alto, Bolivia as part of the celebrations for Saint Roger's Day on Wednesday. Now, this is the Catholic patron of dogs. The Catholic tradition is meant to bring the animals' health and protection for the coming year. Solar energy is gaining popularity among German families as high inflation and persistent energy crisis continues to cast a spell on people. Reasonable price and stable supply of photovoltaic components have made solar energy a new choice for Germans. Moreover, solar system can also supply power in a more stable way. Data shows that in 2022, solar power generation grew nearly 19% year-on-year in Germany. China is the largest source country of this product for Germany and providing 87% of Germany's relative products. Over to the world of business now. Mumbai recorded a 14.6% year-on-year increase in retail leasing across investments that include malls, high streets and standalone developments during January to June of 2023. CBRE India, a real estate consultancy firm, in its report added that Bengaluru, Delhi NCR and Ahmedabad collectively accounted for a cumulative share of 65% in leasing activity during the first 6 months of this year. Intel has cancelled its plans to buy Israeli foundry Tower Semiconductor after the deal failed to get approval from the Chinese regulators ahead of a final deadline amid soaring US-China relations. Intel terminated its deal to acquire the semiconductor maker for $5.4 billion due to the inability to obtain the regulatory approvals required under the merger agreement. Remember, Beijing requires mergers involving companies with a major business presence in China to be approved by the State Administration for Market Regulation, the communist countries, the antitrust regulator. Now brace yourself to pay more for chocolate on your next grocery shopping visit, as Ghana, the second largest producer of cocoa in the world, may not be able to fulfill some of its crop contracts for a second season due to weak harvest. This raises the possibility of a global shortage, according to a report by Bloomberg. Chocolate manufacturers have already said that chocolate prices might go up as they pass on the cost to customers.